So in the studio tonight, we've got the highly anticipated Nuphy Air 75 V2. This is a popular, compact, low-profile wireless mechanical keyboard. And I can't believe it's been almost 2 years since Nuphy released their original Air 75 low-profile wireless mechanical keyboard. Now this thing was absolutely amazing when it was released. But over the last couple of years, Nuphy have made some amazing innovations with all their newer products, such as the Air96 and all the Halo range, with added sound dampening, newer keycaps, and a host of other features that this original keyboard missed out on. So that's when the V2 comes in. Not only has this got a ton of new features that were included to all the Halo and Air96 range, but we've finally also got the inclusion of the QMK and VIA software customization for this keyboard, meaning you can do it on Mac, Linux, and your Windows PC now. So enough of me talking, let's take a look at it. Now with this new Air 75 V2, there's a ton of new configuration options as well. We've got different color choices now. I've got the new Basalt Black. There's also a white and the original sort of space gray color. But let's take a look at this one. There's also a ton of new switches as well, such as the Cowboy, which I've got in this model. And being hot swappable, if you decide you don't like the one that you've bought, you can go get yourself some new ones. So here we go, here's the keyboard itself. And as always, you get the Nuphy plastic cover. I always keep these because it's a great dust protection cover for the top of your keyboard when you're not using it. Also in the box, we've also got the Nuphy poster and a keyboard shortcut chart. It's well worth keeping because you can customize a number of the actual lighting and functions through the actual keyboard itself. So we've got Q&A, we've got some stickers, and we've got our Nuphy poster with all the hotkey shortcuts on the back. We will go through those in a little while. And open up the last part. We've got a braided USB to USB-C cable to either charge the battery or run it wired. This is well packaged. This is all new. Oh wow, here's our spare keycaps. Now you get it configured with Mac out of the box, but they do give you the Windows keycap, so it's easy to switch it over for the Windows version. As always, one of the things I love is they give you a range of the actual switches, so you can test some of the other switches that are available and compare it to the ones that you've got, just in case you want some different switches instead of yours. We've got our wireless dongle, and this is nice. This is just a little dongle housing with a clip on it, and you can clip that straight onto your USB-C cable just to keep it safe. Save you losing it, always handy. Now in the actual Halo range, you can actually slot the actual receiver into the back of the keyboard itself, but because this one is so slim, there's no way we can do that here. And then lastly, we've got our Nuphy switch and keycap puller. So as always, a great selection of accessories in the box for everything you're going to need for this keyboard. And honestly, whenever you buy a Nuphy keyboard, I'm always impressed with just how well it's packaged and just how good these things feel. So let's take a quick look around the Air 75 V2, just in case you haven't seen the original Air. This is obviously a low profile keyboard. You can see it's absolutely tiny and slim to the desk, very compact. This is obviously the 75 key model. So we do have the function keys across the top. We've got the cursor keys in the bottom right, and then just some of the command keys just along the actual right-hand side. Now, because I've got the black version, you can see all my keycaps are also black. Now, these are not shine-through keycaps that come with the actual keyboard itself, but if you pre-order before September the 22nd, they're actually including a set of shine-through keycaps free with this keyboard. So that's very nice to have. And if you obviously miss that date, you can add those as an extra add-on, and they're not that expensive either. But another thing that's interesting to note, with this V2 version, we've now got double shot PBT keycaps, whereas the original Air 75 just had standard die sub keycaps. So these do feel quite solid, very nice. So let's look around the keyboard itself. So we can see obviously the keys, and then we do have some lighting either side of the actual keycaps themselves. On one side, it shows you when your caps lock is on. It will also show you how you're connected via either wired, Bluetooth, or the actual 2.4 GHz dongle. And on the other side, this will actually show you the battery indicator. So as you're running low on battery, it will change color. Very handy, just two little lights like that. As we move to the top of the keyboard, You can see we've got a USB-C port. Now this will be where you plug in to charge the battery or to run it wired. Then on the other side, you've got a nice little simple switch to change it between Windows and Mac. And then next to that, we've got another little switch, which is either off, wired, or wireless. So you can turn it completely off, so you're not draining any battery, switch it to wired or wireless mode when you want to start working with it. Absolutely nothing on either side of the keyboard and nothing on the front. And if we look to the back, you notice they're using a frosted dense plastic for the actual case, so you can actually see through, which is quite a nice touch. You've got the nice silver Nuphy plate. Let's take that off so we can enjoy it in its full glory. Now, one of the benefits of the Air V2 over the Air V1, with the V1, we've got these standard rubber non-slip feet, and then you had these magnetic caps you put over the top if you wanted to increase the angle. So there's only a one step, and it was a bit of a faff because it's quite easy to lose these. It was nice that they had them. Obviously, this is when these were first introduced, but they couldn't find a way at that time to put adjustable feet in it. Well, now, with this V2 model, we've got two-stage flip-out feet, and that is a nice touch, because not only does it raise it higher than the V1, but you're not going to lose those. So I really do appreciate these little features, these nice little touches they've added in to this new version. So now I'm just going to quickly just plug this in, we're going to get the lighting up and running, and we're going to start testing it. Right, so I'm up and running on my desk setup. So I'm currently connected to my Mac, which is obviously going through my 4K display, and I've just plugged the cable straight into there for the moment, just to get the battery charged up. And we'll test the actual dongle in a minute. With a simple click, as I said earlier on, into the Mac mode, the great feature of these keyboards is all the actual Mac functionality works. So as you'd expect with a Mac keyboard. And because this is a low profile mechanical keyboard, although it is higher than an Apple Magic keyboard, it's still incredibly low, and you don't necessarily need a wrist rest. It's still really easy typing as is, because it's so low to the actual desk. It's very comfortable. Now I have got the actual feet to their second stage, which is my preferred sort of typing angle. Now with the Air75, we had some actual wrist rests. With this Air V2, there's an even greater range and colour options. Now I've got the walnut version here, which will hopefully fit in nicely with the sort of desktop accessories that I'm currently running on my editing rig. So there we go. So if you do want that wrist rest, there's plenty of options available. They've got the usual range of frosted wrist rests and this new mono range. This is to say the walnut. This looks fantastic, and it does feel great when you're typing using this wrist rest. I personally always do buy the wrist rest, but you know, you can easily get by because it is low profile without it. So whilst we're talking about some of the new features of the V2, another great feature of this V2 over the V1 is it's now got 60% more battery. So you can get up to 220 hours with the backlighting off, or about 60 hours with the backlighting on. So that is quite a massive improvement over the V1. And we've also now got 1000 Hertz polling rate when you're connected via the wire or via the dongle. Obviously, if you switch it to Bluetooth mode, you are always limited to that 125 Hertz. That's the same as all Bluetooth peripherals. But if you're using this dongle, you're now literally getting the same polling rate as you do with most gaming keyboards. Now, as I mentioned, we get the keycap puller. If you do want to switch it over to a Windows machine, it's obviously a flicker switch on the top. They give you the keycaps that you need to be able to change it. So if I just pull off one of the keycaps there, you can see it's a double shot. So it's a nice heavy duty keycap. And then we can put the Windows keycap straight on there. And then you're away as a Windows keyboard instead of a Mac. Really quick and easy. And as I mentioned, these are hot swap switches. I've got the brand new Cowboy switch. As you can see by this peach color on these switches, you can very easily take those out and switch them for a new switch type. So there we go, you can see the backlighting in there as well. Now if you buy the shine through keycaps, then obviously they do light up nicely. But I'm just going to pop in a couple of the other switches as well so that you can sort of see the difference. So there you can see we've now added the new switches for this range of Air75 V2s. We'll have a quick listen to those in a second. So just to make you aware of which switches these are, I've got the Cowberry, which is a linear switch with a very low free travel, so it's a very fast switch with a 45 operating force. Then we've got the Moss, which is a tactile switch, and it's quite heavy with 60 operating force. And then we've got the Alo, which is a linear with 37 force, so very, very light switch. And then lastly here, we've got the Wisteria, which is, again, tactile, but 55 gram force, which is slightly less than the Moss. So you've got a number of different switches. Now, I personally like a linear, and I'm absolutely loving these new Cowberry switches. They feel fantastic. I think this would be the switch that I would choose for my mix of typing and gaming. I think this is perfect. If you were just purely typing, then I don't know, I think I probably would choose the Wisteria. I think that's a fantastic typing switch. Now I'm going to quickly do a typing test on these Cowberry switches so we can hear what they sound like. And you'll be able to hear just how fantastic this keyboard feels with all the new sound deadening material they've put into the chassis. And just so you can hear the other switches. So there you have it, that's the sound test. So far, really impressed with the actual sound profile of this keyboard. It just feels and sounds fantastic. The build quality is amazing, and you can definitely hear the sound profile of this keyboard, obviously with the loop stabilizers and all the deadening material in here. It sounds and feels fantastic. And now we've got the double shot PBT as well. It sounds even better. And one of the biggest features we're actually getting on this Air75 V2 now is the VIA software customization. Now, with the actual Nuphy console, they did a good job writing it themselves, but you cannot beat this VIA software itself. It has an incredible amount of customization. Now, straight away, you can just see we've connected our Air75 V2. There's a number of layers that you can set all this customization to, which is incredible. Now, straight away, we can just hotkey and put macros, different key customizations, media keys. There's such a vast wealth of customization that you can do on this actual keyboard now via this VIA software. And the great news is now with this VIA as well, you can run it through just a Chromium-based browser and actually save it to the keyboards, and it can be done in Windows, Linux, and on Mac. And that was a big disadvantage of the original Airs. They could only be done through the Nuphy console on Windows. And I did get a fair few gripes from some of the viewers wanting a Mac version. Now, this keyboard is a perfect Mac keyboard, being a slimline mechanical keyboard that functions just as well as the actual Magic Keyboard, but in a mechanical form. So it is a truly great keyboard. It's nice we can finally customize it. Now, you can also create macros. There's an entire macro recording area to create your macros. You can obviously save and load profiles. And we can also now control the lighting through this actual software itself. So this makes this VIA software a one-stop shop for all the customization for this actual keyboard. Now, we can adjust the keyboard brightness through the software itself, which is really handy. And bear in mind that obviously by default with the PBT keycaps, the double shots, there's no shine through, so you're only getting the lighting around the keycaps themselves. It is very subtle, great in a very dark environment, not in my studio, but obviously you're not going to get bright lights coming at you like some of the RGB Razer keyboards. If you do also get the shine through, then obviously the lighting does come through a lot better at the expense of not having the double shot PBT keycaps. Now, there's a ton of different effects. If I just scroll through some of these here, that you can choose for this keyboard. So let's just pick a couple of random. Let's have a go at splash. So as you type, it starts splashing away on the keyboard. We could just do something basic as choose a solid color. And as you can see, mine's set to red currently. If I just click the color, we've got a massive selection of colors we can choose from. You can just scroll anywhere you like on the color gradients. Let's pick myself out a nice light blue. And then it's then saved to the keyboard, which is very, very handy. And this is such a lightweight piece of software. You literally go to the browser and you're done. But if you're not happy with using the actual VIA software, you want to use the keyboard itself, there is a number of functions you can do just via the hotkeys on the keyboard, such as the brightness, the actual speed of the transitions, the colors and the profiles straight away just from using the hotkeys, and they're all listed on the back of the poster. So just make sure you keep that one. And as I mentioned earlier on in the video, we've got the two lights either side of the keyboard. They just have this beautiful sort of RGB sort of flow through the different color gradients, which I really love. But the left one, if you press the caps lock, you can see then instantly that the caps lock has come on. You can also use this and it will tell you how you're connected, whether you're connected via wired, Bluetooth, or the 2.4 GHz dongle at a glance using this light. Now the light's the opposite side, again has that beautiful RGB sort of gradient flow, but this will now show you your battery life. So as you're starting to run low on battery, it will start notifying you in this little light so that you don't just die in the middle of an assignment. So there we go, the Nuphy Air75 V2. I think they've done an absolutely fantastic job combining all the achievements they've made over the last 2 years on all their other keyboards, combining it into this new upgraded Air75, and now adding that VIA software. It really is the icing on the top of the cake. Now, if you're interested in this keyboard, make sure you try and pre-order before the 21st of September so you get the freebies. And Nuphy have kindly given us a 10% discount code off their range of keyboards. So at the checkout, you can use the MASH10 to get a 10% discount off anything in your cart. I'm going to put a link in the description below to Nuphy's website with our discount code so that you can actually get that 10% for yourself. And as I mentioned earlier on, September the 21st, if you want to get the free shine through keycaps, they've also got a discount on the actual cover and this wrist rest. Now, as always, if you have any questions, put it in the comment section down below and I will get back to you. And lastly, thank you for watching.